Mr. Abioye was known throughout the village as a strong and imposing figure. His large hands were calloused from years of hard work, and his deep voice could be heard from across the fields. Despite his strict demeanor, he had a heart full of love for his family. A loving but strict father. He believed in the old ways, where children learned the value of hard work and stayed close to home. His daughter, Zola, had always been different. She was full of dreams and curiosity, often gazing longingly at the horizon as if trying to see beyond their small village. Mr. Abioye would see this longing in her eyes and say, "Our family's future is here. You must help with the farm and your brother. There is no need to look beyond these fields." To Zola, this seemed like a cage around her dreams. She felt as though her wings were clipped, and her heart ached for the adventures she read about in her books. Zola's big dream. Zola's room was a treasure trove of maps, travel brochures, and books about distant lands. Every evening, she would sit by her window, dreaming of the bustling cities and grand universities she had read about. When she received the acceptance letter from a prestigious school abroad, her excitement was boundless. She imagined herself walking through grand hallways, meeting new friends from different cultures, and learning from world-renowned professors. She saw a future full of possibilities, where her dreams could take flight. But when she showed the letter to her father, his reaction was cold. "No, Zola. It is too dangerous. Our family needs you here," he insisted. His refusal felt like a crushing blow to her hopes and aspirations. She couldn't understand why her father couldn't see how important this opportunity was for her future. A secret promise. Mr. Abioye carried a heavy secret with him, one that shaped his every decision. Many years ago, before Zola was born, he and his beloved wife had discussed their hopes and fears for their family. On her deathbed, she had asked him to make a solemn promise to always keep their children safe and close to home. She feared the dangers of the outside world and worried about what could happen to them. Mr. Abioye had vowed to protect his children, even though he had dreams of his own when he was younger. He was afraid that by letting Zola go, he would be breaking his promise and failing the memory of his wife. This promise weighed heavily on him, and though he wanted to support Zola's dreams, he felt trapped between his love for her and his commitment to his late wife. An important argument. One evening, Zola could no longer contain her frustration. She burst into her father's study, her face flushed with anger and disappointment. "Look at this letter, Baba. It's my chance to go to the best school. Please let me go," she pleaded, her voice trembling with emotion. Mr. Abioye looked up from his work, his face stern but his eyes betraying a flicker of sadness. "Zola, it is not safe. You have responsibilities here that you must fulfill," he replied firmly. Zola's heart shattered. "I hate you," she screamed, tears streaming down her face. She stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind her. Mr. Abioye sat in silence, feeling the sting of her words and the weight of his own decision. He knew he was being harsh, but he was bound by a promise and a deep-seated fear. Kwame, who had been watching from the doorway, knew he needed to step in. He found Zola sitting alone in her room, her eyes red from crying. "Zola, you need to understand something important," Kwame said, sitting beside her. "Dad isn't being unfair. He made a promise to Mom to keep us safe. He's afraid of losing you like he lost her." Zola looked at her brother, her anger softening into confusion. "But why does he think I can't handle it? I'm not a child anymore," she said, her voice cracking. Kwame placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. It's not about you being strong or weak. It's about a promise made out of love and fear. He wants to protect us because he loves us so much. Zola began to see things from her father's perspective, but still felt torn between her dreams and her family's expectations. Mr. Abioye's worry. That night, Mr. Abioye lay awake in bed, his mind racing with conflicting thoughts. The quiet of the house seemed to amplify his internal struggle. He imagined Zola's future, her success, her happiness, and her potential. He wanted so badly to support her, to let her explore the world and achieve her dreams. Yet the promise he had made to his wife loomed large, a constant reminder of his commitment to protect his children. He wondered if he was being too rigid, if he was holding Zola back from something that could truly make her happy. The more he thought about it, the more he realized that love sometimes required difficult decisions. And he had to choose between keeping his promise and supporting his daughter's dreams. A difficult decision. The following morning, Mr. Abioye sought out Kwame, hoping for guidance. They sat together in the quiet of the kitchen, the early sunlight filtering through the windows. Kwame, I don't know what to do. I promised your mother that I would keep you all safe, but I also see how much this means to Zola, Mr. Abioye confessed, his voice heavy with emotion. Kwame looked at his father with understanding eyes. Dad, love is not just about keeping us close. It's also about giving us the freedom to pursue our dreams. Zola's happiness and success are part of love, he said thoughtfully. Mr. Abioye took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his son's words. It was a hard decision, but he knew he had to trust Zola and believe in her ability to handle the challenges ahead. The big surprise. The day after their conversation, Mr. Abioye called Zola into his study. She entered cautiously, her heart pounding with anticipation. Mr. Abioye looked at her with a new softness in his eyes. Zola, he began gently, I have been very strict because I was afraid. I made a promise to your mother to keep you safe. But I realize now that you need to follow your dreams. I am proud of you and will support you. Zola's eyes widened in disbelief. Her heart raced with joy as she processed his words. Thank you, Baba. I promise I will work hard and make you proud, she exclaimed, hugging him tightly. Mr. Abioye felt a profound sense of relief and joy, knowing he had made the right decision. It was a turning point for both of them. As the day of Zola's departure approached, the atmosphere in the house was filled with a mix of excitement and sadness. Zola packed her belongings, each item representing a piece of her life she was taking with her. When it was time to say goodbye, Mr. Abioye and Kwame stood by the bus, watching Zola with a mixture of pride and melancholy. Zola, remember that we love you and are always with you, even from afar, Mr. Abioye said, his voice choked with emotion. Zola hugged her father and brother tightly, promising to stay in touch and share her experiences. As the bus pulled away, Mr. Abioye felt a lump in his throat, but he also felt a sense of accomplishment. He had done the right thing by allowing Zola to chase her dreams. Zola's new life at the special school was everything she had hoped for. She wrote letters to her father, describing her new friends, exciting classes, and the beautiful city she was exploring. Each letter was filled with stories of her adventures and discoveries. Mr. Abioye read these letters with a smile, feeling immense pride in his daughter. He realized that by letting Zola go, he had given her the chance to fulfill her potential. He also learned that love means trusting the people you care about and supporting their dreams, even when it's hard to let them go. Zola, in turn, felt her father's love with every word she wrote. The distance only strengthened their bond, teaching them both valuable lessons about love, trust, and the importance of pursuing one's dreams. Mr. Abioye's decision to let Zola go was a testament to the depth of his love. It showed that true love involves not only holding someone close, but also giving them the freedom to follow their dreams. Zola's journey taught both father and daughter that sometimes the greatest act of love is to support and believe in each